Okay. So what do we know about hydrilla? First of all, it's a submergent plant. Most of the plant is under the water. And it has whorled leaves, and this is really important. These are groups of leaves surrounding the stem. At least 4 leaves in the whorl for mature plants. So if you have a mature plant, there should be at least 4. There are serrated margins. The edge of the leaf is toothed, and this is pretty important. And hydrilla produces a tuber in the sediment. Next. And some characteristics of hydrilla. As Scott mentioned, there are a couple biotypes. The biotype we have is monoecious. It is native to Korea. It has a leaf type that is ribbon. Leaf arrangement is whorled. And the number of leaves in the whorl can range from 4 to 8. The leaf shape is strap that you can see to the right. And the leaf margin is a saw or hook tooth. It's serrated around there, and it's visible to the naked eye. So if you can see it, and it's toothed like this, it's possibly hydrilla. And then the most definitive thing out there is if you find tubers or turions on the plant, then hydrilla has that. So that's really a defining characteristic. Next. I'll talk about some lookalikes, and in this case we're talking about Brazilian elodea or Hydrilla densa. It is a native of South America. It has a leaf type that's ribbon. It is again whorled around the stem, and the number of leaves in the whorl are very similar to hydrilla, 4 to 7. Leaf-shaped strap again, and the leaf margin, it has very finely serrated leaves, but you could only see this if you use a hand lens or something to magnify it, and so it would be very finely serrated or almost smooth. And Hydrilla does not produce tubers or turions. And another common lookalike are the elodea, and we have 2 native species, Elodea canadensis and Elodea natalii. It is a ribbon leaf type. Again, the leaves are whorled, arranged around the stem, and the number of leaves are 3. Rarely we see 4, but we're looking for 3 around the stem. The leaf shape is strap. The leaf margin is smooth, so there are no serrations on this. If you put it under a microscope, you could sort of see some serrations, but to the naked eye, it is smooth. And again, elodea does not produce tubers or turions. Another lookalike is the naiads, and for most of them we have native naiads except for brittle naiad, which is Naias minor. The leaf type is thread, and the leaf arrangement is opposite. There's 2 leaves, they're opposite one another on a node. The shape can be varied from needle-like that you see here to strap. Leaf margins are minutely serrated except for the invasive brittle naiad, and it does not produce tubers or turions. Now we'll talk about some differences here with these line drawings between hydrilla, Hydrilla, elodea, and the naiads. Hydrilla, again, has leaf whorls commonly in the range of 4 to 6, sometimes 8. Leaf margins are serrate. They're hooked under a scope. And it has a tuber, or the foot of the plant is a tuber. And it can grow turions, which are near the tip of the vegetative part of the plant in late fall. And hydrilla has white rhizomes coming off the roots in the sediment. Hydrilla, or Brazilian elodea, has leaf whorls again in the same range, 4 to 6. The leaf margins, however, are smooth. And if you look under a scope, you might see something. It has no tubers, turions, or rhizomes. The next one, elodea, this again has leaf whorls, usually 3 in a whorl. Again, the edge of the leaf or the margin is smooth, and Elodea has no tubers, turions, or rhizomes. And for the naiads, the leaves are really not in whorls. They are opposite one another, and it does not have any tubers, turions, or rhizomes. Next. In a checklist, if you think you have hydrilla, the first thing you need to take a look at is the leaf arrangement. You look for the whorled leaves around the stem. You look for more than 2 leaves coming off the same point on the node of the stem. If the leaves are opposite, it's probably not hydrilla. You need to look next at the leaves, the number of leaves in a whorl. You look for more than 3. If you have less than 4, it again probably is not hydrilla. The leaf margin or the edge is pretty definitive for hydrilla. You look for a serrated, toothed edge that should be apparent to the naked eye. And so if you have that, that's something to really look for. If the margin is smooth, it may not be hydrilla. And then again, the most definitive thing for hydrilla in these lookalikes is tuber and or turions. If you have a tuber at the end of a whitish root or rhizome, or if you have turions that are growing near the top of the plant in the fall, if you have either of these, it could be hydrilla. If neither are found, it may not be hydrilla. I'll talk some about leaf arrangements around the stem, the whorled part. You look for whorled leaves, more than 2 leaves coming off the same point on the node of the stem. In the upper left, you have hydrilla, and to the right, you have Elodea. If the leaves are opposite, it's probably not hydrilla. Another opposite, when we talk about opposite or subopposite or appearing whorl, again, we're talking about the naiads. In the upper left is Naias guadalupensis, and to the right, Naias flexilis. You're looking for whorled leaves if you have more than 2 coming off the same point of the stem. If the leaves are opposite on this slide, it's probably not hydrilla. And the number of leaves in a whorl, if you have more than 3, that's what we're looking for. In the upper left-hand corner is hydrilla. To the right, Egeria or Brazilian Elodea. Again, you're looking for more than 3. If you have less than 4, it's probably not hydrilla. In the upper left-hand corner, again, here we have Naias guadalupensis, fewer than 4 leaves. And to the right, we have Elodea, either canadensis or natalii, and again, fewer than 4 leaves. So we're looking for more than 3. Next, we're looking at the leaf margins or the serrations, and here these are photographs show the sharp teeth and tooth part of the leaves. Very important. This is, in both cases, hydrilla. It should be apparent to the naked eye. If the margin is smooth, it may not be hydrilla. And here's a case of smooth edge on the leaf. Again, Elodea on the left, Brazilian Elodea or Egeria on the right. You're looking for a serrated tooth edge that should be apparent to the naked eye, and these are not. If it's smooth, it may not be hydrilla. And then lastly, one of the most important things in the identification of hydrilla is the presence of tubers and or turions. If you have a tuber at the end of the whitish roots in the sediment or the rhizome, or if you find turions, little vegetative buds growing at the top of the plant in the fall, it is likely to be hydrilla. If you don't have either of these, it may not be hydrilla. And I guess here's another question, question 2. If you want to take a look at what this plant is, we have several choices there, and that's the second question. And the next presenter is Greg Sargis.